Okay, hi. I'm back, and I'll be reading the Bible. I'll be reading from the Holy Bible. First, Presbyterian Church, Santa Barbara, California. I'll be reading from this Bible, and I'll be reading Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 to chapter 2, verse 3. Verse 3. The Pentateuch. The Pentateuch is the first 5 books of the Bible called Torah. In the Hebrew scriptures, though we often call these books the law. Torah does not mean law, but teaching. Basic to the Torah is the idea of the covenant. A covenant is an agreement. In the Bible. In the Bible, is an agreement in the Bible. In the Bible, covenants are special because God is one of the other parties to the covenant. Biblical covenants have 3 parts. 1, a statement about God's saving act, what God brings to the agreement. 2, a statement about what God expects from humanity in response. 3, a sign or symbol as a reminder of the covenant. The Torah is in part a record of God's covenant and the implications of the covenant for human life in society. Genesis begins with the creation, setting the covenant in the context of God's rule over the entire universe. The first covenant is with Adam and Eve, representatives of all humanity, and includes the understanding that the human beings will be responsible stewards of all of creation. The second covenant is with Noah, the promise that the world will never again be destroyed by flood. Then the biblical account focuses on one, particularly your person Abraham, who enters into covenant with God and is given the promise that he and his descendants will become a blessing to all humanity. Through the narratives dealing with Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebecca, Jacob and Leah and Rachel and Joseph, the question of faithfulness to the covenant and hope for the fulfillment of God's promises take concrete form. Exodus centers on the shape of God's people from Egypt under the leadership of Moses and the making of the great covenant at Mount Sinai. The parts of the covenant are clear. God's gracious saving act is seen in Passover and Exodus. The expectation of human response is summarized in the Ten Commandments. And the feast of the Passover is a great sign and reminder. Moses, Aaron, and Miriam are both the leaders of God's people and the martyrs of struggle and faith. Leviticus takes its name from the Latin word for book of the Levites. The major concern of the book is the holiness of the community of Israel. Holiness means to be set apart by God for a special purpose. Holiness is expressed in proper forms of worship and living out the love of God in the routine of daily life. The Holiness Code, chapter 17 to 27, is a good example of how worship and justice mingle together in the life of Israel. Numbers is named for the census that begins the book. The narrated part of the book is the wilderness journey from Kadeshbarnea to the promised land. Included are the great accounts of the spies entering Canaan, the 40 years of wandering, and the miracles of Moses. Finally, come the conquest of the kingdoms of Sihon and Og in the Transjordan, and the story of Balaam. The book ends with Israel prepared to enter the promised land under the leadership of Joshua. Deuteronomy is written as Moses' farewell speech before the tribes enter the land. It reviews God's acts of salvation and the implications of salvation for life. The book itself was apparently found in the temple in the reign of Josiah 621 BC. The discovery sparked a great religious reform. One of the real concerns of Deuteronomy is how to make old traditions relevant for a new time. The most important statement, I believe, is the Shema found in chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Genesis chapter 1, 6 days of creation and the Sabbath. Genesis chapter 2, verse 4b to verse 9. Job chapter 38, verses 4 to 11. John chapter 1, verses 1 to 5. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, let there be a dome in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. So God made the dome, and separated the waters that were under the dome from the waters that were above the dome. And it was so. God called the dome sky. And there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said, let the waters under the sky be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees of every kind on earth that bear fruit with the seed in it. And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed of every kind, and trees of every kind, bearing fruit with the seed in it. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said, let there be lights in the dome of the sky, to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be lights in the dome of the sky, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. God set them in the dome of the sky, to give light upon the earth, to rule over the day, and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said, let the waters bring forth swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth, across the dome of the sky. So God created the great sea monsters, and every living creature that moves, of every kind, with which the waters swarm, and every winged bird, of every kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them, saying, be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures, of every kind, cattle, and creeping things, and wild animals of the earth, of every kind. And it was so. God made the wild animals of the earth of every kind, and the cattle of every kind, and everything that creeps upon the ground of every kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have domain over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." So God created humankind in his image, in his image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female. He created them. God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have domain over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth." God said, "See, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food, and to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life. I have given every green plant for food." And it was so. God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, and there was morning, the sixth day. Genesis chapter 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the multitude. And on the seventh day, God finished the work that he had done, and he rested on the and he rested on the seventh day from all the work that he had done. So God blessed the seventh day, and hallowed it, because on it God rested from all the work that he had done in creation. In creation. Okay, that's all.